going to talk about the very first time or the very first year of the child's life. Sometimes we think that babies are just what they need from us is to be fed, to change their diapers, to put them to sleep. And we actually hear sometimes some people giving us advice about if the child is fed and changed and sleeping well, then they don't need anything from the mother. Even if they cry, you can just leave them. You've already done everything they need. You don't need to respond to anything so that they learn to soothe themselves. Well, that's actually not very helpful, because a child is much more than this. The very first year or two from the child's life is very important, and they can have impacts that can live with us for the rest of our life. Actually, some of the research is now telling us that a part of my self-esteem that I live with for my whole life starts forming in the first year when I'm still a baby and I start to learn about the world and about myself. Am I important or not? When I need something, the people around me understand me or not? Do they respond to my needs or not? Or they just ignore me? I'm not important. I need to be on my own. Can I trust others to be there for me or not? Even these very important and big words start forming in the first year when I'm still learning about the world and about myself. Also, research tells us that the quality of the attachment between a child and their caregiver, which is usually the mother or the person who is in charge of taking care of them, affects the quality of our relationships all our lives, and it also affects our mental health. So today we're going to give more focus on the psychological and emotional needs of the babies, so we can make sure that in their first days in life and their first year, they are getting all what they need from their parents. I want you to imagine a baby just coming to life after being inside their mother's body for 9 months. They don't know anything about the world except her own smell, her heartbeats, her sound, her voice, maybe the voice of the people who live with her. So when I start to arrive to this world, everything is so loud, everything is so bright. I'm exposed to so many stimulating things. The only thing that can comfort me is to be close to my mother, the person I know. So any advice that is giving about not carrying the baby enough because they can get used to it is very against fitra, actually, because against what God has put inside a mother's nature. Any mother who would act naturally when her baby is crying, usually she would pick him up, put him close to her chest, and this is very comforting for the child. It will help him listen to the heartbeats that he's used to, feel her warmth. It will help him actually thrive. We actually know that sometimes they call the first 3 months of the baby's life that it's the 4th trimester of pregnancy, because the child still needs to be that close. They're still transitioning from being inside the womb into being in real life. So they're still learning everything about life. So actually we know that being close to their mother, touching her skin, or we touching their skin, has positive effect on their immunity, on their stability. They cry less when they're close to someone they love. Their health is better, their heartbeat is better. A lot of things in their physical health and psychological health is very affected. So responding to their needs and keeping them close to their mother and their loved ones and their caregivers is very important and very essential for their development. Human beings are social creatures. They thrive on affection and love. And sometimes we forget this. We think that a baby doesn't need these things. Maybe when they grow up, they will need it. Sometimes I hear that, for instance, a young baby does not need his father yet. He doesn't get what the father, he just needs his mother for the feeding, for instance, which is not true at all. Actually, babies, one of the ways to bond with babies is to do the basic caregiving things for them, like changing for them, bathing them, changing their diaper. All these things, they actually connect to the person who's taking care of me. And as they start to see after the first month, you would notice that if you're doing something for them, they try to connect to you, look you in the eye, give you eye contact, because they're actually trying to see who's this person. I'm trying to learn your face, I'm trying to connect with you. And this is something to keep in mind. Babies, again, are social beings, so talking to them about what we're doing, even we say that we can start doing this when they're still inside the womb. They can hear us and they learn about our voices, and this helps in their brain development. So talking to them, responding to their needs. One of the very, very basic and most important needs in the first 2 years is responsiveness. Is that when I cry, someone knows how to comfort me, someone responds to my needs, someone learns that, shows me that I am important, and they know how to comfort me. A young baby, if they start crying, it's much harder for them to stop crying. So if I learn their cues and respond to their needs before they actually start crying, I'm helping them learn to regulate their emotions. A baby who's 4 or 3 or less than a year, or even sometimes much older, is not supposed to be able to soothe themselves. They need help. And when we are there to soothe them and help them find comfort, by time, they learn to do this for themselves. Actually, unlike what people used to think, that being responsive to the baby and carrying them and breastfeeding them for a long time would make them very dependent on the mother. Actually, we know now that this is not true. Actually, research tells us that if we actually feed them like it's mentioned in the Quran for 2 years, and if we actually respond to their needs and care them and let them be close to us and respond to their attachment needs, this is actually what makes them more independent. Children who receive this kind of love and responsiveness are usually more independent, or their brain develops in a much better way. They are much more secure. They know how to deal with their feelings much better. Their mental health is much better. So it's very important to always remember the idea of responding to the needs, not to worry that there's a very famous saying that says you cannot spoil a baby. Don't worry about spoiling at this stage. Spoiling comes when at later stages, we don't help them to learn about responsibility. But our role in the beginning is to just let them know that there is love, there is rahmah, there is mercy waiting for them, and accepting them and seeing them the way they are. As they start growing in the second half of the first year, they would be wanting to explore. So creating a safe environment that helps them live their curiosity, and because subhanallah, their mind is created that they're learning all the time. They're learning from everything they see or touch or play with. So it's much better to try to control the environment than trying to control the child. So giving them a safe space where they can explore and try things and play with things, and having an adult to talk to and respond to their cues and laugh at what they're doing and smiling at them. Connecting with them starts from the very, very first year. Reading to them has been proven to have long-term impact on their academic performance, on their love for learning and reading. So what I'm trying to say is that this is an invitation to look at the baby as a human being. It's not just a baby who doesn't understand anything or just don't need much from us, and not to focus only on the basic physical needs, but to look beyond this and try to figure out what they need from us psychologically and emotionally. Thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum.